So in today's video, we're actually going to be doing a fun what if scenario. And the first one to begin this series is actually what if Polly Gray, Helen McCrory unfortunately, didn't die in Peaky Blinders. Now, as a quick rundown of this video, there should be timestamps as usual, and I'm basically going to be describing some multiple scenarios which could have happened if Polly Gray had been alive throughout the final season of Peaky Blinders. To understand Season 6, we must quickly run over the consequences of Season 5 and how these would have led into Season 6. So obviously the first big one to start with is Polly was obviously getting married to Aberama, and as we all know, in Mosley's failed assassination attempt, Aberama is actually stabbed to death and killed very brutally. This is the first thing we need to know going into Season 6 with Polly. Second, we need to understand that Michael and Gina actually planned to leave the family. Plan is maybe not the right word, as Tommy had actually exiled Michael in the final family meeting, where he said he doesn't want him to be there when he's back. So he really left Michael no choice other than to actually betray Tommy and go on his own with Gina to America. Now, we come to Season 6, where obviously Helen McCrory had passed away, unfortunately, and Polly was absent from the season physically, but spiritually she was felt, as she has voice lines in the season still, and her whole atmosphere can really be felt, and the impact of her character. The first scenario which we have is scenario 1, being, if Polly was alive, she would neither side with Michael or Tommy. She would in a way help both. Now this ties into my scenario 4, but for a quick rundown of scenario 1, basically, seeing that Polly and Tommy and Polly and Michael had great relationships, she saw them both really as her sons. More so Michael obviously, but Tommy she did see as she had a very special connection to him. She would choose not to engage in the war and just stand idle. Now she would do this hopefully by helping Michael here and there and helping Tommy here and there. I don't think she would actually betray either of them. As to say, I don't think Polly would actually tell Michael that Tommy's going to be here, or tell Tommy that Michael's going to be at this spot at this specific location so they can plan an ambush. I think she would just kind of be their consigliere like Tom Hagen to Michael Corleone in the Godfather movies, except without the actual motion of planning. She would more or less be the spiritual advisor to both Michael and Tommy. In a deleted scene for Season 5, this is even more plausible, as we actually see Michael and Gina going to Polly and doing a gypsy ritual where she stabs his finger with a prick and blood falls into the bowl of water, and then she can tell the future. Basically, this scene was completely cut from Season 5 because I'm going to link the scene like I did last week, but basically in the scene, Polly does this ritual where the blood falls into the water and swirls the water around, etc. And Polly literally says to Michael, there's going to be a war and Michael is going to die, which eventually does happen in Season 6. So Michael was always planned to die, but in that deleted scene from Season 5 reveals it completely. Oh, I'll even play a bit on screen if I can.
The water grows redder.
Michael!
There will be a war in the family. And Michael will die.
You'll recognize the scene as well, because in Season 6, Episode 5, this is actually played while Michael is sleeping and dreaming about Polly. So it was nice that they kind of included a new scene with Polly. So that is the first scenario where she's more or less a spiritual advisor to both. The second scenario, which could arguably be more plausible, is that she would simply just side with Michael. Considering Michael is her son and he really hasn't done much to insult or irritate Polly, the biggest thing being that he tried to betray Tommy, but Polly has been trying to do that since Season 3 arguably, as she said that the company needs a restructuring in that final Season 3 Episode 6 speech before they'll get arrested. So, by siding with Michael, she really has no issue. And this is even more plausible, as if we take Aberama and his death, which was orchestrated more or less by Tommy, as it was his plan to assassinate Mosley and leading to Aberama's death, Polly could have this brand new hatred towards Tommy for killing her only true love and to-be husband, which could entirely be plausible. So Polly could be infuriated with Tommy and think, it's time for change, my son can lead the change, and she would work with Michael to take down Tommy. Really like how Tommy's been working with Polly to take down all of his enemies. For example, in Season 4 when Polly and Tommy work together, at Michael's expense really, to take down the Changrettas. Furthermore, we know that Polly is ready to betray Tommy, as in season 2 when Tommy tells her about Michael, she actually pulls a gun on Tommy and tells Tommy where exactly she can find Michael. So we instantly know from there that she's willing to kill and even arguably betray Tommy to a great extent for her son, Michael. Furthermore, in season 2, there's multiple scenes where she's very adamant on Michael not joining the gang life and protecting him at a level above Tommy. And Michael was shown to be the only one who was still visiting Polly in season 4. Tommy didn't bother visiting her at all. So arguably that is a possible thing where she sides with Michael, and I still think in this ending Michael would have died, but there could have been a big conflict where Polly helps Michael to betray Tommy, and in the end Tommy maybe has to kill Polly, but definitely kills Michael. Now we're on to scenario 3, which is actually a bit of a different one and could have actually been the original plan if I'm not mistaken. Basically, instead of Ruby dying in season 6, it would have been Polly. Polly would have got sick and then died through that season, giving Tommy definite psychological struggles, and Michael as well, arguably even adding momentum to the conflict between Tommy and Michael. So, Polly arguably would have got sick, Tommy would have acted the same way as he acted with Ruby, trying to find a cure and help her. Michael would have been incredibly distraught, and there could have actually been a cool kind of conflict there. We could have had Tommy trying to heal her with all these spiritual techniques as he did with Ruby, and Michael could be trying to heal her with science, the way of the future. Arguably because Michael is as well the future of the Shelby company, and Tommy is in the past, the more spiritual side. So that could have been a cool conflict, trying to fix Polly with science and trying to fix Polly with spirituality. Michael doing the science part and Tommy doing the spiritual part. And that could have been a way also opposing each other in the final season. Now, that arguably could have happened, and then Polly would have died, obviously, and season 6 would have largely gone the same as it had already gone, with Michael dying in the end and the war still going on. Now, we come on to scenario 4, which is possibly, once again, a very plausible what-if scenario, being that Ruby is still the one to die in the Peaky Blinders. However, instead of Esme being the person to help Tommy and try and heal her, it could have been Polly. Now, after season 5, with Aberama dying and Polly resigning from the Shelby Company Limited, she could have been completely done with the gang life and Peaky Blinders life. So she really just retreated to her roots and became the Gypsy Queen. Now, by becoming the Gypsy Queen, she more or less is exactly like Esme in season 6. She has her own gypsy camp, her own gypsy people, etc. She's almost a recluse, as she doesn't contact Tommy or anyone like that. Now, when Tommy's daughter obviously came ill, Polly would arguably be the one to help. He would go seeking out Polly, and then they could kind of resolute over Aberama's loss and argue a bit and discuss why she needs the help, etc., etc. And Polly would be the one to help, in the end, try and help Ruby and explain why exactly Ruby's been sick due to the sapphire. Basically, Polly just completely fulfills what Esme did in season 6. And even though Esme never really had a good send-off in season 6, the final conversation was just in the car, I'm sure in season 6, Polly would have maybe attended Michael's funeral or something like that. Polly would have maybe attended the final family meeting, or not, seeing that Michael was dead and she just fully reclused into a gypsy life and was just at home again, really, you could say. So, yeah, those are 4 scenarios that I actually came up with for Peaky Blinders. What if Polly Gray was actually alive and didn't die in season 6 of Peaky Blinders? As you would have known, this actually isn't my first what if video. I did a short, actually, a while ago called What If, I believe, Alfie Solomon Didn't Die. That didn't do too bad for YouTube Shorts, but all my shorts, touch wood, seem to do pretty good. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this series. Basically, there's going to be multiple questions such as what if Alfie Solomon's stayed dead, etc. So there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of cool videos I could make, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching them. But besides that, I've got a few more videos coming out in the future that I hope you guys will like. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night or day wherever you are.